In this video, we're going to talk about whether or not writing on Medium is still worth it in 2026. Hello, YouTube friends. Welcome back to my channel. James here. And over the past 3 years, I've spent a good chunk of my spare time writing on Medium.com. And for a lot of that time, it was highly lucrative. I made more than $60,000 sharing my thoughts on a wide range of topics. And there was just so much to love about the blogging site, including writer-friendly design and UX, and perhaps most importantly, the fact you could start getting paid for your work almost immediately. And as such, each year, I would post a newsletter article and YouTube review that sought to answer the question, is writing on Medium still worth it? And each and every year from 2023 to 2025, my answer was a resounding yes. But this fall, something really weird happened that sadly caused me to change my opinion for the first time since joining there in 2022. Is writing on Medium still worth it in 2026? In this video, I'll explain exactly what happened, why I think some writers should now pass on the platform altogether, and what I'm doing in the new year instead. Now, to say things were chugging along for me in the fall would be putting it mildly. So after spending the better part of a year bouncing around between $1,000 and $2,000 in earnings per month, I suddenly burst through a plateau in a big way in the spring. So here's a quick look at what happened. You can see in the early winter, I was doing less than 2,000, and then in April, things exploded and held pretty steady after that. So all of this positive momentum had me on the precipice of reaching a goal I'd always dreamed of, but thought to be all but impossible, which was $10,000 US in earnings in a single month. Now, being able to make a living writing on Medium has always been a dream of mine, and for the first time since before a brutal partner program update in August 2023, it looked like it actually might be possible. Now, October started with a bang and had me trending toward that elusive 10K number when all of a sudden, around October 10th, 11th, everything fell apart for me. And I couldn't make sense of it. So I'd spent 3 years grinding away at building a 600 article back catalog of work and promoting the site on YouTube and Substack, and it looked like Medium simply turned off my internal distribution. So I wrote a polite email to support. I asked them to have a look at what might have happened and maybe give me an explanation. And because honestly, it was simply statistically impossible for my numbers to do what they were doing without some kind of intervention or glitch. And I was still drawing almost 1,000 external views per day from non-subscribers from things like Google Search, Substack, that sort of thing. And at first, I was worried that I'd somehow run afoul of some rule or policy and wanted to know how I could rectify it. Now, twice in the past, I'd been caught up in an overzealous spam filter on Medium for no reason at all, and twice Medium fixed it within the day. And Medium is also undergoing a multi-month tweak of how it pays writers under the Medium Partner Program. And oftentimes when this happens, there are wild swings in pay and distribution while everything gets sorted out. But this didn't seem to be affecting anyone else, and nobody else was talking about it. So I had to laugh when I got Medium Support's reply a short time later. There was no explanation, no fix, just a form letter that explained that I should take a long view of Medium earnings and provided me with some tips for success, which again, I'd been a top writer on the site for years, and this YouTube channel used to be almost exclusively focused on writing on Medium. But anyway, about a month later, with no recovery in sight, I reached out to support again, and this time they just ghosted me completely, so I couldn't help but feel personally targeted at that point. But I'd later discovered that this was actually something of a pattern. So a top writer slowly builds some momentum, explodes to the next level, appears headed for a major payout, and then they see the spigot turned off overnight. So let me give you 2 more quick examples here. Now, I started to wonder if I'd become so good at Medium that the site felt they couldn't afford me anymore, which seems weird. So on platforms like YouTube, top creators are promoted and celebrated, and Substack is similar. But the difference is that YouTube is ad-supported and Substack is supported by subscriptions to specific writers, whereas Medium lives on subscriptions to the site itself. And Medium has a weird vibe sometimes because of it. And although I love the platform and I've always been a big booster of it, I've always kind of felt like I'm a little bit scared to do too well. So back when I started in 2022, there was a writer named Tim Denning who was Medium. He became so good at it and his readers were so valued his motivational business writing that the algorithm couldn't help but flood your feed with his work. And another very successful writer at that time was someone by the name of Eve Arnold, who wrote similar type of content. And then all of a sudden, the powers that be seemingly decided that Medium was too highbrow for that sort of thing and slashed pay and distribution for that type of make money content. So Tim last published on Medium in late 2024, and he now writes the same type of stuff on Substack, and Eve Arnold has all but disappeared. She'll pop in once in a while, but you don't see too much of her, which brings me back to me. So meanwhile, I was one of the few top writers who didn't quit after several partner program and distribution tweaks made it a lot harder to earn. I resolved at the time to shift toward content that Medium seemingly wanted, and I set an audacious goal of adjusting to a 50% pay cut by doubling my views. And crazily enough, I actually did pull it off. Now, instead of writing health and make money content, I focused on business and personal finance, and that did pretty well. I got better and better at everything from topics to story structure to image selection to headline writing, all of which spurred long read times and tons of comments. And effectively, I did everything Medium said it wanted and published the kind of human-written original content that serious platforms usually value greatly. And my retention numbers, which are, almost always 80 to 90%, were outstanding, which suggested that I was delivering on what I had promised with my headlines, and my work always generated a ton of engagement. So in other words, I should have been Medium's dream contributor, and yet in October, and with a massive payday on the horizon, they effectively shut me down. And it turns out I'm not the only one. Now, in the weeks following the shutting down of my account, basically, I happened upon an eerily similar story by another writer named Jacob Wilkins. Now, the pattern was the same. A writer builds some momentum, the writer sees explosive growth to start a month, and then Medium rug pulls their distribution. And you can read the full post in the description, but I've included a screen cap showing how the exact same thing happened to him a month before it happened to me. So you can see all of a sudden, writers having a great time, rug pull, and then the views are almost non-existent after that. So seeing this in my own stats, I recalled a conversation I had with another top Medium creator who quit the site back in the spring. And at the time, the writer sent me a picture of their stats, and well, look what happened. Now, as if that weren't bad enough, a reader of mine on Medium let me know the other day that when you do an author search for my 42,000 follower Friend of Medium account, it doesn't actually show up in the results. So again, I gave Medium a couple of opportunities to explain what had happened and even requested a media relations contact if support couldn't respond, and I have yet to hear back. It's unfortunate, and as we learned during the last partner program fiasco last January, it's also a huge mistake, because if you don't communicate changes, people fill the void with all sorts of conspiracy theories, and it's why I still wonder if Medium shut me down because I got too good at making money there. Because if not, why not just explain what happened? So it's also just like the honorable thing to do. To pass that along. But I gave 3 years of my life to Medium and 600 articles, and that's just, I felt like that was the least they could do, is tell me exactly what happened. But if Medium does ever get back to me, I'll be sure to update in the comments what happened and pin that. But so that obviously leads to the question, who is Medium for in 2026, if anyone? So would I consider still writing for Medium if they let me out of distribution jail? At this point, I think it's possible because the things that make Medium great are still there. Number one, the design and content management system. It's clean, it's easy to understand, it's user-friendly. Number two, there's a low bar for entry, so all you really need to get started on Medium is a laptop and internet connection, and $5 a month for a membership at the site to get started. And the distribution, when it works, ensures your work is seen by others, and the comments and clapping function allow you to quickly build a community in small, enthusiastic sub-niches. Now, if you're starting from scratch, it probably still makes sense, but it should be used mostly as a springboard to more serious platforms that support top creators. Now, the third big benefit of Medium is that you can start getting paid right away. And in my opinion, this has always been the most important feature. Now, in order to start making money from ads on YouTube, for example, you need to drum up 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And this took me 11 months on my channel, and I'm led to believe that's actually pretty fast. And on Substack, you're basically on your own. Like, there's a bit of distribution, but if you can't draw in your own subscribers, you'll never make a dime. So grinding out a decent following there could actually take years. And as such, Medium is still probably the best choice for beginner stage creators who don't have an audience and who are looking to practice their writing skills. And it's why you see a lot of English as a second language writers there from countries that benefit from a strong US dollar exchange. And, it's also probably an okay option for marketers because of Medium's strong domain authority and search traffic. Because like I said, I still get 500 to 1,000 views per day from external sources. But if you're a serious professional creator like me, why would you invest the time if you know there's an artificial cap on your success? And that's the question that I'm wrestling with right now. Now, sometimes the universe is doing you a solid when it looks and feels like it's punching you in the face. And the truth is, I always felt like I was on borrowed time at Medium. And it's why I worked my butt off that first year to get monetized on YouTube as a backup plan. But the golden handcuffs were definitely comfy. And I do regret not hustling harder to build a bigger following on Substack, grow my YouTube channel, and launch my own website. So I called myself an entrepreneur, but in retrospect, I wasn't really an entrepreneur at all. I was a sharecropper. I was a modular home owner on rented land. And when you take that risky route, there's always a chance that the boss could kick you off the property. And it's why I always told my wife that even though I was pulling in thousands of extra dollars a month, we couldn't afford to change our budget. We had to act as if that money could disappear overnight, and sure enough, it did. So when the Medium spigot closed, I was catatonic for the better part of a month, but now I feel re-energized, and I've started to work on a bunch of other projects, including my new website, plusevnews.com. I'm obviously back to YouTube. I have a handful of Substack newsletters and a productivity tool that I sell as well, and there's links in the description to all those. But to be totally honest, I'm still mourning the end of my relationship with Medium. I love that site with all my heart and sung its praises for 3 years and probably brought in a ton of subscribers. But what's left to do when someone stops loving you back? And in these moments, I'm always reminded of a scene from one of the greatest TV shows of all time, Mad Men. So the lead character, Don Draper, visits his protege, Peggy, in the hospital. She's made a decision that could end her career and doesn't know what to do. She's panicking. And everything Don asks, she says, I don't know. So finally, Don stares at her with the deepest intensity to ensure she's listening and says in a low tone, get out of here and move forward. Now, whenever my wife and I get discombobulated about something challenging in life, we pull out the Don Draper quote and the delivery, move forward. So thank you, Don, for the umpteenth reminder. And now let's get back to work. Hey, let me know in the comments, have you noticed any similar changes on Medium to your accounts? And do you still think Medium is worth it in 2026, and for who? Again, thanks for watching, and please like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll talk to you again soon.